News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
So many fires, so little personnel. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It is Tuesday, August 18th, 2015. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Montana Morning. Our newscast sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community in Stevensville, offering the best of Western Montana living. Call 777-5387. So many wildfires are burning across the northern Rockies that fire officials are allowing some to burn because all the manpower and equipment is committed elsewhere. The Northern Rockies Coordination Center lists 86 active fires in Montana and Idaho as of yesterday morning. 7 in Montana are listed as unstaffed due to a lack of resources. They're all small fires burning in relatively remote areas in northwestern Montana and don't pose any immediate safety threats. The Coordination Center's Liz Sloan says it's an unusually active fire period because of last week's hot weather and lightning in drought-parched areas. She says all wildland firefighting agencies' resources are in use and are being cycled through as quickly as possible. Sloan says more favorable weather forecasts this week should assist firefighters. Let's talk about those fires burning to the east and west of Missoula, contributing to the smoke covering the Missoula and Bitterroot valleys. The Wild Horse Point fire is burning just a few miles from Frenchtown. DNRC Public Information Officer Jordan Copen said the fire is now about 70 acres in size. He said fire season is still in full swing.
We're still in stage 1 restrictions, which means no campfires unless they're in designated areas. You can always look it up, firerestrictions.us, and try and find the most accurate, up-to-date list of that. And we're probably going to keep it in stage 1. We don't want to go to stage 2. That's the word.
The Morel Complex was 3 fires that have merged into 2 separate blazes, burning not far from Seeley Lake, according to Lolo National Forest spokesman Boyd Hartwig.
Total of about 380 acres with that complex. No structures are threatened. The fire is actually in a pretty good place. The strategy is going to be to, kind of herd it away from Highway 83 and kind of move it to the northeast.
Hartwig says the community meeting last Friday in Seeley Lake was helpful in getting residents on the same page.
It went great. Very engaged community. They've been through the Jocko fire in 07. They're used to fire, but obviously concerned. And we got a lot of good information out and a good turnout, 150 people approximately. And we're going to keep them informed as we go through this.
Copen had important advice to anybody heading out into the woods as the summer begins to draw to a close.
Let's be extremely careful out there. Our firefighters don't need any unnecessary risk fighting human-caused fires. So we're trying to keep those down so we can fight the lightning fires and be more effective this year.
Fire danger in western Montana remains very high. Forest Service officials in Missoula are investigating when wildland firefighters start experiencing permanent health damage from smoke inhalation. The Missoulian newspaper reports that Joe Dimitrovich and Joe Saul are experienced firefighters and members of the Forest Service's Technology and Development Center who have begun a 5-year study into the effects of smoke inhalation. Researchers are equipping firefighters with pocket-sized carbon monoxide monitoring devices, activity monitors, and cameras. So far, the research has revealed the worst smoke exposure tends to hit firefighters who are dousing hot spots and removing smoking tree stumps, rather than those combating a perimeter of a blaze. On Friday, 24-year-old Everett Newhouse, 32-year-old Daniel Mitchell appeared in Missoula Justice Court yesterday, charged with felony aggravated assault resulting in permanent or life-threatening injury, and his second misdemeanor charge of partner or family member assault. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Brittany Santorno asked Substitute Justice of the Peace Mary Seal Glover Rogers for a bail of $25,000 due to the serious nature of the attack.
This case has the hallmarks of a serious strangulation, and it was witnessed by a child. The defendant has a previous partner-family member assault from 2007. The state would be fine with screening for pre-trial with standard conditions, no contact with the victim or her 2 children, including his child.
Glover Rogers agreed and set bail at $25,000. Mitchell's next court appearance will be August 31st. He was returned to the jail. Glover Rogers of the Missoula law firm of Boone Carlberg is filling in for the vacationing Judge Marie Anderson. Well, there was other action in Justice Court yesterday. On Friday, 24-year-old Everett Newhouse allegedly crawled through a window into a residence on 23rd Avenue and confronted his former girlfriend, who was with another man. Appearing via video from the county jail, Newhouse was charged in Justice Court with felony burglary, along with misdemeanor partner and misdemeanor partner or family member assault. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Brittany Santorno once again asked Substitute Justice of the Peace Mary Seal Glover Rogers for bail of $10,000.
Prior to this incident, the victim broke up with the defendant, whom was her boyfriend. He came to the house where she was residing and came in through the window. The defendant found the victim and a male friend fully clothed laying on a bed. He grabbed the victim and yanked her to the floor and then punched her friend in the face.
Bail was set at $10,000. A committee appointed to oversee the implementation of Medicaid expansion in Montana has started its work by hearing from state officials who say they're moving so fast they don't expect the rollout to be perfect. The 9-member Medicaid Expansion Oversight Committee, made up of mostly lawmakers and healthcare officials, met yesterday. The group will evaluate and make recommendations to state agencies handling different aspects of the program. Department of Health and Human Resources Division Administrator Dwayne Preschinger said although the federal government will have the final say, the state is doing its part to start enrollment by November 1st. For the first time since testing began back in the 80s, E. coli has been detected in some Montana beef. Meat Inspection Bureau Chief Gary Hamill from the Montana Board of Livestock said the discovery was a surprise.
It was a positive sample of ground beef that came back positive for E. coli 0157H7. We took steps to mitigate that, and the product was denatured and destroyed. In Montana, it was a bit of a surprise because we've not had an E. coli positive sample in Montana, but this is something that's relatively routine across the country.
The E. coli was able to survive its journey through the meat plant because a rinsing machine wasn't putting out water hot enough to kill the bacteria.
It was a hot water rinse machine that wasn't reaching proper temperature. We addressed that issue. We have increased sampling that we put on the particular establishment, which means we took 8 additional samples of that product. The product was held, so none of the product entered commerce.
Hamill said although the pathogen didn't enter the food system, it didn't go into the market. Montana's medical marijuana industry is growing despite an ongoing legal battle over regulatory law. The Missoulian newspaper reports Senate Bill 432 was passed in 2011 in response to so-called cannabis caravans. A component of the law says the practice of a doctor recommending medical marijuana to cover 25 patients in a year could be subject to review by the Board of Medical Examiners. Federal raids on dispensaries after the law's passage helped to reduce the number of dispensaries in the state. News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Look for a mix of sun, smoke, and clouds today with our high temperatures in the upper 70s. Warmer temperatures by the middle of the week with most areas in the mid to upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.